Next, I'd like to introduce Patricio Robles Gil. Patricio is the founder of 2 Mexican conservation organizations that have worked on the issues of endangered species and securing biodiversity in wetlands. He was the co-leader of the World Wilderness Congress WILD12 that was held in Mérida, Yucatan in 2009. In the last 40 years, he produced and photographed 39 art books and the natural world. In 1993, he launched the legendary Cemex Conservation book series, of which he was the director, producer, and editor for 15 years. Patricio has dedicated the last decade to producing a series of artworks called the Extinction Rituals, where he presents some of the most dramatic issues that the planetary wildlife is confronting. In the past 2 years, he documented and supported the extraordinary comeback of the Baja California condor. Please give a warm welcome to Patricio.
Thank you very much, everyone. It is a great honor and with great gratitude to the Lakota Nation to give me the possibility to be here with you today. I'm from Mexico, as you heard, and I remember quite well, we heard in the radio the moment that the US President John F. Kennedy died, was shot. I was 9 years old. I was in the back seat of my family car, my father's car, and we were just arriving to our family house, vacation house, 2-hour drive from Mexico City. We were shocked. I remember that Kennedy was very dear to the Mexican people. More recently, I understood the real power of rituals. When I saw a video of the funeral procession of Kennedy, there were thousands of people on each side of our very long avenues, wide open, where the carriage of the coffin of Kennedy was carried by a group of horses. The flag surrounded the coffin, the American flag. The solemnity of the whole ritual, the soldiers, and there was something quite unique. There was a lone horse with a saddle of Kennedy. It has the boots of the president in the stirrups, and they were pointing backwards. It was a gesture of a farewell to his army. Very, very powerful. This ceremony, this ritual, helped the American people heal of their great loss. That's when I understood that rituals, ceremonies need to be done when things like that happen. More recently, in 2006, 20 years ago, I received a mail, just a mail, of a tragedy. The Yangtze River dolphin, the Baiji, were declared extinct. And it was just one news, nobody comment, nothing else, no ceremony, no mourning. So that's when I decided to create this work you're going to see. This is a series of videos of processions and mourning of species or populations. So please, could you put the videos?
This story is very, very sad, and it's about a marine mammal that only lives in Mexico. It's endemic to the upper Gulf of California. It's called the vaquita porpoise. I think the first estimation of this marine mammal, of the vaquita, was in 1997. It was 567 vaquitas left. I became part of an organization called CIRVA, el Comité Internacional para la Recuperación de la Vaquita, the International Committee to the Conservation of the Vaquita. This man, Lorenzo Rojas, the director of CIRVA, told me, Patricio, it's urgent that we need to do something because the numbers of the vaquita are going down. So I asked him if he could give me a skull of a vaquita. And the zompantli was something quite powerful in those times. And they put skull after skull of these enemies for their offering to the gods. And then they will put one pole and to another, to another, to another, to another, and they will make a huge wall of skulls. Some of them were old ones, but others will still have the flesh. And it was quite impressive. You can imagine when the Spanish came and they saw that, it was something that you will remember all your life. Actually, there's right here in downtown Mexico City, an area that they have made some excavations where they found the great zompantli. They said that there were like 60,000 skulls making a big tower. The problem of the vaquita is a large fish called totoaba. And there's an organ, a bladder that this fish has that is very valuable to the Chinese market. And they can pay in an auction in China over $100,000 per kilo. They call it the cocaine from the sea. So they put these nets to capture this fish, the totoaba, and the vaquita get trapped, get caught and drowned. Right here behind me, there's a kind of a sculpture, an installation, you could say it is. And it has 30 skulls that we did, making a mold of the original. Thanks to a friend, I had a meeting with a director of a beautiful, beautiful museum, el Museo Nacional de San Carlos. And she gave me an idea. Surrounded to this plaza that it was kind of oval shape were classic sculptures in marble. And I asked if I could cover them with a black cloth. So they will be mourning the vaquitas. In the middle of the plaza with this sculpture, but the installation was complete when we put in the ground. I put in the ground 567 vases with a carnation, a white carnation in each one. It was very powerful, but the 567 vases represent the early estimation of how many vaquitas were left at that time. Imagine, there's only 10 or less than 10 left.
if you poach these great animals, I ask that the weight of the rhino is on these people's souls, because I believe what they are doing is they are destroying something very sacred.
Compressed hair. It's what the rhino's horn is made of. It's like our nails. It's just keratin, nothing else. And the value of the horn, not of the horn, of a pound of powder of the horn of a rhino worth is very, very valuable in the Asian market. I Google white rhino illegal poaching, and you see images that poachers come, kill a rhino with a chainsaw, they cut the two horns, and they leave the carcass there. There's a tradition in Africa, in the Congo, that the shamans used to make some wooden human bodies, and they nail with different objects, principal are nails, to curse the someone in the village or someone else. How I could curse the poachers in a ritual way, and I managed to produce or to cast a rhino skull in bronze, life size, and I have inviting for the last 5 months friends, colleagues, artists, writers, conservationists, photographers, to write, handwriting, a small text, a curse to the poachers in a paper. And then we roll it up, and what we do is put inside of an empty shell of a high-power rifle, and we drill with a drill a hole in this skull, and then we introduce the cartridge with the curse. The piece, I call it Cursing the Poachers, and right now have over 40 curses from George Haller, Jane Goodall, Mexican writers como Alberto Ruiz Sanchez, Guillermo Arriaga, and others. And at the end, I think they will have 120 curses. And what you're looking at this moment is the piece.
We're fortunate that there's still a healthy population, but it's been dramatically decreased. So that's why we curse the crime. So that's why the symbolism of this beautiful sculpture is just so important.
Long time ago, when the Spaniards conquered Mexico and Latin America, they brought a kind of ritual. In the Catholic religion, there's these little miracles called milagritos. They are made of bronze, and there are many, many different shapes. Some are legs, if you have lost a leg, or you have something with your eye, or even in the country, if you lost a cow or is ill, you take these miracles and put them in different objects like crosses, hearts. I have here someone that is kind of kneeling, asking for that miracle. I don't practice any religion, but for me, nature is my temple. And thinking about this kind of culture, I decide to create a series of miracles of wild animals. I chose around 70 different animals, all of them in danger of extinction. And in wax, I create them. That later, I went with the foundry where they will make a mold of these animals, of these 70 different species, and then with wax, they pour the wax on top of the mold to came up with a tablet, but made completely of wax. Then it comes, the foundry will melt. In this case, these ones are made of bronze. In our case, for this purpose, we use aluminum. Once that the wax was evaporized, they pour the aluminum, really liquid. It's really impressive. It fills the holes where all these little animals are, and comes the tablets of aluminum. But they are very, very thick, so I went with a friend to his workshop, and in that workshop with a machine take away all the excess of aluminum, and actually the little animals came almost completely by themselves. And then I have to polish them and take all the excess of material. I polish them. It's very interesting because it took me many months to do the whole thing. And I was fascinating from the moment I create these wax animals to the moment I will nail them to a carving sculpture of a lion. It really, doing all this work, it really helped me heal all the pain that we have seen by the mass extinction that is starting right now. This carving sculpture that you're looking now is an old antique, but it represents a lion, the king of the jungle, one of the animals that are more represented in shields. Is one of the symbols of nature more important. And I put these little milagritos, these little miracles all around, and I'm asking this felon, this cat, this lion, to protect them. I am asking for a miracle to save all these little animals.
But if I have to choose, not for me, but for who will represent the planet, a symbol of nature, I will say the tiger, the Indian tiger. It was, I think, 1994 that I attend to a photographic festival, and a photographer called Sam Laboud shows this image of a tigress being sold by parts in Taiwan. For the Chinese traditional medicine, the whiskers, the fangs, the claws, the skin, the bones, everything. I want to recreate that scenery. I ask a zoological park if they will let me photograph and recreate the scene, and I did this image. This is a tigress. She has been sedated, is in captivity, and her claws are growing because she's not using them. So they have to operate her, and they lend me the tiger's 5 minutes. So I tie her 4 extremities and took the picture until I finally got someone in China that could get hold of some boxes where the traditional Chinese medicine have tiger parts. So what I did, I print the tiger, the one you saw, 2 meters 40 centimeters by 2 meters 40 centimeters, a huge, and printed in a wood canvas. And I start to cut the boxes, and I start to paint with the boxes the whole image. It took me several weeks. It was also very healing, the process. It's huge, but if you look very, very, very close, there's 200 boxes nailed to the wooden canvas, and I call it damn Chinese medicine. There's not much scientific evidence that all those parts, all those killing of tigers help much to the health of the Chinese or Asian people.
Disturbing. It's not my photograph, I took it from the internet, but I can feel the anxiety of these emu, ostrich-like birds from Australia desert. In the image says that on the other side of the fence, it rained, and there's life, there's food. And that's why this congregation, they want to cross it, but the barbed wire fencing is one of the world's most damaging to wildlife. It kills thousands and thousands of animals worldwide. With this idea in mind, I start thinking about creating something, another ritual. And I had this idea of creating 100 sculptures, an army of sculptures of African antelope horns. So what I needed at that time is to convince or to sell the idea to someone, a taxidermy workshop, that could have that amount of horns. So I draw how it will look like, this army of sculptures, and propose it to the owner of these taxidermy workshops. It took me several years, but finally I also did this sculpture. It's impala entangled by barbed wire. I'm in the workshop. I have lost a lot of strength for many years of an accident I have, and the process of doing those 100 sculptures was also very healing, and it gave me strength because it was to deal with the barbed wire. It's quite strength, or you need using a lot of force. Here you see still the process of producing the 100 sculptures, the final details, and this is a work very recently that is looking for a museum to present it. I have always challenged myself to provoke, but to seduce at the same time. Thank you very much.